Uh-oh! Footy Scoops in the set!
Yes, indeed. Listen.
Tell them!
I'm wearing this t-shirt right now, representing Dominica, my dad's country. You know what I mean? One of the smaller nations in the CONCACAF. Najjah, she's wearing a Guyanese shirt.
One of the big countries in the CONCACAF.
That's how they want to start, you know? I don't want to cause no conflict, you know what I mean? But that's how they want to start. We'll go, you know what I mean? But at the same time, obviously, you know a lot of the other CONCACAF countries, Canada, Mexico, Jamaica, da-da-da-da. But there are other nations within CONCACAF doing their thing, making big strides. Najjah, what we saying?
Yo, man, it is my honor and privilege to have one of my homies from 19 how long, but actually part of the integral coaching staff for the Guyanese women's program right here, my dude, Gavin Fredricks! Respect, man.
Thanks
and a Tottenham supporter. Let me throw that out there, too.
Spiritual life.
Spiritual life.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that Spurs stuff in a second.
Yeah. No problem. We're so grateful for you to be here, man.
Absolutely.
I've seen this guy from time. I'll tell you right now, as a player himself, ended up going out to Atlanta for Clayton College. Right? Clayton State University, my bad, to play some serious ball in the States in university. But I mean, when we were as kids, from time, anytime you wanted someone to lambase a shot, boy, let me tell you, this was the
Line
finisher.
it up.
I'll never forget. I'm gonna tell this quick story before we get into this, alright? We're at a big soccer tournament at Kinsman Park. You know what I'm saying? All the high schools playing up on Pope John Paul. I'm thinking I'm in Scarborough. I'm cool and shit and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we needed his team to lose for us to advance. And we're just watching this game. I see Gavin Fredricks as the ball came. He playing for Dumbarton, by the way. Right. The ball came in some sort of way from he did some kind of a Zlatan Ibrahimovic thing. We lashed the ball from 40, 50 yards out. Yo, distance. Just crushed us, bro. This is on the drop, bro. But that's my guy from 19 out long.
Dream
So
crusher.
I always say when I play with him, I know what he's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I know what he's gonna do.
Dream crusher.
Yeah, man. So let's just talk about it really quickly, man.
Let's get into it.
So first and foremost, man, let's get into it. So I mean, for those who don't know, I mean, he's from Pickering, all right, and grew up playing soccer for Scarborough. Who'd you play for?
Right, North Scarborough.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Ended up going to Clayton. So how did that come about?
Yeah, just played with North Scarborough, played in a few tournaments in the U.S., got a few scholarship offers, of course, the New York connection.
Now I see.
And but I wanted to go somewhere where I could play soccer all year round. I didn't like playing indoor. I wanted to be outside as much as possible. Mm-hmm. The opportunity at Clayton presented itself, and it kind of worked out. I ended up playing soccer at Clayton State University on scholarship. Living down there for about 12 years, living and working, postgraduate. Did my graduate work down there.
Nice.
So yeah, it worked out for me.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I love that for the athletes that are aspiring to go to school. It's amazing that, you know what I'm saying, able to use soccer to go there, but also to finish his education and able to use it in the past. Because as we know, not past the whoa, but past that, but in the future. Because as we know, these are such intangible skills we learn on the pitch that you're able to, use and transcend in the higher space, right? Which is absolutely crazy.
That process right there, though, when you talks about having lots of different offers from schools, walk us through that a little bit, because obviously with you coaching these younger ages now, that's going to be kind of a stage where they're going to be looking at universities, looking at options sort of thing. So if you can kind of cast your mind back a little bit,
just a
couple of years ago, cast your mind back on that one. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it is a different time now.
Yes.
With the age of social media, getting your name out there. Getting in contact with coaches is a lot easier. You have the internet where you can find out the name of coaches, get their contact information very quickly. During our time, it was a lot about writing letters.
Yes!
And sending videos by mail.
Yeah, VHS, boy, VHS.
Hold on. But that's a pen and paper for some of the younger viewers.
Yeah. Right. It was about writing letters, sending tape by mail.
Yeah.
Getting in contact with coaches that way. But the avenues are a little bit different, but the theory is still the same. You want coaches to be able to see you. If you're playing in tournaments where you know, it might be close to a school that you're interested in. You might want to drop that coach a line and just say, hey, I'm going to be in Ohio on July 25th weekend for this tournament. I know it's close to your vicinity. Perhaps you can come out and take a look, and they could see you live, and you can sort of introduce yourself to them in person, meet with them, chat with them, and they'll have a chance to see you play.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, for me with Cleveland State or Buffalo, I mean, it was the same kind of thing where I was actually calling coaches and saying, this is what I'm doing. So it's funny you say that. So that's exactly what we had to do back then, where it was a different climate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, fast forward now, where you're now actually working with the Guyanese national team. Now, how does this happen? And are you actually helping to get Canadian girls with Guyanese descent on the team as well? So yeah, let us know how that goes, because that's a beautiful thing. Number one, to be giving back to sport I know you love so much, and especially you having a daughter to be working with girls. So yeah, what was that like?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great opportunity. And I would say, you know, for, you know, not only for soccer but for any sport really, the beauty of us, you know, living in Canada and our parents being immigrants or grandparents being immigrants, you have that lineage back to their native country. So. Sure. If you're not in a position to, you know, get a call up from Canada, for instance, or from the U.S. or from England, right? That's where our, you know, our diaspora. That's kind of where the Caribbean people kind of migrate to.
Right.
Those three places. If you don't get a call up from them, you know, you still have an opportunity to play against those teams, right? We see them. I see them in the CONCACAF tournaments all the time. The U.S.'s and the Canadas. It's the exact same tournament. The exact same university coaches are there looking at players. Right. So if you're able to, like I said, not only for soccer but really for any sport, that's one of the beauties of us living in Canada is that, you know, it's a nation of immigrants, and you still have that, you know, connection to your parents or your grandparents' birth country, and that provides you with an opportunity to perhaps represent that country in sport.
Now, with that allegiance at that age on the national football team football program. Is that going to then nullify any options as they enter into the adult program? Or, because I know right now, you at a certain age, you are still able to make a jump from one to the next, right? Yeah. If the opportunity comes about. However, I can kind of see or foresee where they may start wanting to kind of look at it. Because again, you have lots of nations kind of just wising up. Where they say, okay, well, you're not going to take a look at me now, so let me, stay with my parents' country, right? And grow that program up.
Sure.
And it's going to be a lot of success. I'm sure like with your team, in time to come, they're going to have great success as well.
Sure.
Right? So do you kind of see that being a thing?
Yeah, I do see that. I think if you perform, they will come.
Of course.
I mean, the U.S., Canada, you know, England, they're not silly. If they see a player performing at a high level, they'll come and get you. So the rule around FIFA is really, you know, once you cap at a senior level, you're essentially locked in now, you know, with a very small sort of circumstances where you might be able to get out of that. But once you cap at a senior level, you're locked in. So at the U15, U17, U20, you can play for whatever country, but once you cap at a senior level, then
you're
locked in.
That's what they say is halas.
Right. You think they'll start shifting that down though to a lower ages, you think, or what?
I don't think so. I don't see the benefit of them doing that. But you know,
yeah, you know what? Maybe not, because maybe they're getting a chance to get talent to grow, you know, in a different space and then utilize them after.
That's definitely what's needed. But when it starts, I'm just looking at it from those other nations. You mean those colonizing nations?
Yes. That's just say what you want to say, bro.
Those colonizing nations. You mean they're gonna look like, okay, well, I mean, like, why did we not latch onto this person before? Because obviously there's going to be some snubs as well, right? And rightly so. Right. Because again, and we talked about this with some of the professional players on the men's team, if you have looked at snubbing particular countries and joining up with other bandmates and playing for the parental lineage, you would have a much stronger team. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So at some point, they'll bend the rules to their favor.
I mean, I talk about, like, say Jamaica, for instance. Now we started to see my dad from Everton. We got Mikel Antonio. You know, we started to see some players coming that are not going to get a shot with England, and they're coming, and we're just thinking, man, some of these players continue to play. If they just went straight to Jamaica, and Jamaica will be strong, you know.
Right, for sure.
And so, you know, just examples like that. But
for sure. I mean, I actually see it as a benefit to these national programs. You know, the Canadas, the U.S., England. Why? I mean, if you're not going to select a kid at U15, or you've missed them, identifying them.
Yeah.
you can still see them because they're going to play against you in the CONCACAF tournaments,
and
right?
Represent.
And from a player pool perspective, I think, Canada soccer, Ontario soccer, it's a much greater success story to say we have hundreds of kids that play national level sports.
Wow.
As opposed to 30.
Yeah. Right.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, and that was my point about, I think it was a benefit to them because they get to go somewhere else and grow their game and then still take them at that point.
Right.
Now, based on that, that's what I'm going to talk about. Like, from when we were growing up, what do you see the biggest differences? Because now you're, entrenched in the youth program now. From when we were growing up, like, what do you see the difference in terms of maybe the participation, quality, infrastructure? I know some things are crazy in terms of pricing, but, what do you think? What's your take on that?
I mean, the game has changed. First and foremost, it's a lot more scientific now than when we played as youth. When we played as youth, it heavily relied on your physical attributes, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of the bigger, stronger kids kind of dominated, and the smaller ones that were later to develop in maturity might have fallen off. Where now it's
except for me. But anyways, here now
and me. I didn't grow up till late.
Skills. Let it be known.
I was a late bloomer as well.
Very good.
Up there from morning.
So the game is a lot more scientific now, and one of the things that I do think that the federations, Canada soccer, U.S. soccer, what they're doing now is they're investing a lot more in coaching education,
right?
And bringing out the science of the game. Mm-hmm. The physical science, but also the technical science, right? It's not about, Johnny who's able to kick the ball 50 feet and run faster than everyone and score 10 goals a game.
Right.
He's not, that's, coaches understand now that that's not necessarily what they're looking for. They're looking for the technical skills. And so I think educating coaches is a big part of the development and growing the game. So the federations are definitely doing a good job in educating their coaches, and you can see the products improving as well.
That's a great point you bring up. And actually, when you mentioned the differences, that's the difference I've most definitely noticed as far as the coaching level.
Right.
The experience and just the requirements. Right.
To become right. Before it was just it was.
It was.
If you
had a lad playing on the team, there's a good chance you win. You mean someone's dad or whatever
was coaching. Facts. Yeah.
When I did my coaching licenses, I was out in Guelph, and there's people who've never kicked a ball in their life. You know what I mean? But the lads on the team, whatever it is, so they want to obviously participate, which is great. But at the same time, you want to have like-minded coaches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking on that now, as far as coaching levels for yourself, like how much of a commitment was that for you to kind of get yourself to that level?
Yeah.
Where you're at now?
I mean, for me, I probably started coaching in about 2004 with Atlanta Top Hat. When I lived in Atlanta, it's a big club. It's a big female club in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Larger than Atlanta Top Hat.
Yeah.
Big up ATL. Yeah.
Top Hat's a good club. Yeah. Spent 2 years coaching there, and it was really good. And I think, the good thing about coaching education is it allows coaches to speak the same language. So to some extent,
explain that.
Well, going from one team to the next, or from one coach to the next, you're getting a similar experience. They're teaching you some of the same things. It's not, forget what he said and only do what I said.
Right. It's an extension or add-on of what.
It's an extension.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
So that's really good. And then when I came back to Canada, of course, I coached at Pickering Soccer Club for, I don't know, maybe 12 years or so.
Wow.
Just on a hiatus from there right now, focusing on the national program, but the Guyanese women's national program. But the coaching education piece it's very important, and I didn't see the importance of it and speaking the same language, but particularly at Pickering Soccer Club, what they have an awesome ability to do is they can take one coach out, put another coach in, and it's seamless for the players, right? Because they're all speaking the same language, right? They've really taken their coaching education and their the standards that they have for coaches to a very high level.
That's good to know.
Wow,
for sure. Because obviously we had Pickering coaching there before. I mean, with Jamie. So
we had Jamie Peters here. One of the guys who was here too as well.
Yeah.
So, and then for you, what was that process like? Actually going through the whole coaching? Because it's like things. So, for instance, when we used to train and stuff, we like playing the games, and the training sometimes like, okay, we have to do. Like, did you enjoy that, or was it like something where you're like, you know what? you know, I have to do this so I can get to the next point, or did it come about time when you were getting coached, or when you're going to school for a training for it, that you decide, you know, that something kind of clicked and you're like, you know what, I really am enjoying this?
Yeah, I think that click didn't really happen until I got to university. Training was a chore, I thought, at the amateur ranks, I guess.
Right.
But once you realize the benefit of training, right? I mean, you can think of it from, you know, like what's Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers, or whatever the case may be. You do something for a certain amount of time more than your peers.
Yeah.
You are going to get better. Right?
So say that one more time. Say that one more time.
If you're doing something more than your peers, you're spending more hours in a day. They're training for 2 hours, you're training for 4. You multiply that over a few months or a few years, how far ahead are you going to be than them?
Yeah,
right?
1000%.
So once you realize that as an athlete, and you find it inside of yourself to dedicate yourself to becoming better, and understanding that if you can out-train and outwork your peers, that it'll pay off on the pitch. Once you realize that, then you know it's almost a lot.
This is a coach's speech right here. It's almost a feel right now.
I'm ready, coach. Let's go. Listen, I gotta work on this belly right now. But yeah, real talk. No, real talk. Because I echo those same sentiments. You know, earlier, you know, just want to dribble, man, and do whatever the case may be. And I went to, you know, the NCAA, and you're in this program. What I found was when you start to develop, when you start training on that level, the mental strength, when you start developing mental strength, because it's the mentality starts to change, right? And you start to really see the results. Right. And you're like, wow, once you get the momentum of that, you're like, oh boy, you know what I mean? I got a real battery in my back right now. I'm flying up the wing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it becomes such an amazing challenge, because it's, you know, the training on pitch, this, that, you're 3 times a day, where, you know, in spring season, you're training, and it's a dream, you know, and you're out there with all these people. But I agree with that. I mean, I initially didn't really take it so seriously, like it was more natural, because we didn't have that growing up.
Right.
Like I would imagine maybe the kids might notice that earlier, because they have that infrastructure that you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
From that standpoint.
We had the, you know, practice once a week, play once a week, or
right.
maybe twice a week training if you had a good coach.
Right.
But yeah, and it's definitely a mental it's a mental thing that you need to channel, right? Because there are other priorities, especially when you get into, you know, your later teenage years. People want to go out to party. They want to, you know, are you willing to say, hey, you know, I can't go out to party tonight because I got to train at 6 a.m. tomorrow? Or are you going to try to do both and then get to training and not have a good session?
It's a common story.
Right?
It's a common story.
Yeah, common story.
Yeah,
so definitely time management and discipline are 2 big things that the kids need to understand. The fun will come.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to put immediate gratification aside for a long-term reward.
But those dropping pure gems. Yeah, but those challenges have stayed the same. You mean? Because we had those same challenges as youths as well, and then youths now they have the same challenges. And so those will never change. But again, as you said, it just comes down to your dedication, right? So with you coaching these young ladies, how do you dial in that dedication from them?
I mean, so the coaching that I do, it's a little different in coaching. So I coach the Guyanese national team, and we do have a lot of sessions here in North America, right? Really? Either in Toronto or around in New York or what have you. But then there's another element of it, and that's developing soccer locally, ensuring that girls are playing soccer and things like that. In Guyana. So in terms of the dedication piece, I think the beauty of being able to coach the girls here in North America, the North America bases, they get that dedication from their club. Right. They play high level, you know, whether it's OPDL or League One or what have you, with their club teams here, right? So they have an understanding of that. You know, relaying the benefits to the domestic players might be a different challenge, because they don't have the infrastructure to play high level soccer. A lot of them are playing with boys, and I mean, so long as they're playing, you know, we're happy. Yeah. But you know, the women's soccer in Guyana is growing. They have a women's senior league. And you know, some of the youth girls are playing with boys. So what we might do is have situations where we might have, you know, 16-year-old girls maybe playing against 14-year-old boys. So it's, you know, so at least they're on the pitch and they're playing games and they're getting their touches in.
Well, I mean, I just want to reel back a little bit because I still just have to give you your flowers for this because it's not a small thing that you actually, coaching, helping the coach, one of the coaches for the Guyanese national team. So coming from coaching in Atlanta, coming to Pickering, how did this opportunity come about? Obviously he's a GT Guyanese, GT, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, GT boy, but Pepper Pata and El Dorado, but how did this opportunity? How did this happen? Because it really is remarkable, man. I just outside saw you on Instagram pictures with flying all over and doing this stuff, and it's wonderful, So how did that happen, bro?
Yeah, so it just came about because there's a lot of Guyanese players that lived in the GTA.
100%,
right?
Yeah.
And so we kind of made the connection. Many of them were already with the program, but the program was kind of, it was.
No, but who called you, or how did you call? Someone called you.
Give me a name.
No, you know what I mean? Like he's like, and I'm like, but at some point it was like, oh shit, man. Oh, you're really Guyanese? Like, how did that happen? That's pretty crazy. That's a wonderful story,
So,
like, call it the tipping point. I call it the tipping point.
Fair point.
Yeah, like the tipping point happened with a conversation with a friend of mine, Paul Beresford. He's director of the women's program for the Guyanese women. His son played with the men's national team. And it just really happened over a conversation. So he's a friend of mine from Atlanta. I met Paul many years ago through working at Delta Airlines. I worked at Delta.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Delta.
This guy had the plugs. He always had the plugs. He went to Atlanta for school, went to Delta. Yo, trust me, this man, we call him Gino, by the way. Anyways, yeah.
So Paul is he runs the Delta soccer, the Delta Airline Soccer Club. So it's just an affinity group that when you have these employee programs, these employee clubs. And so when I was working there, I just figured I'd reach out and find out about Delta Soccer Club. Him and I became good friends. The great thing about the Delta Soccer Club is that we go and play in different tournaments around the world against other airlines and things like that.
Yeah, nice.
And so I got to see a lot of the world and play football in a lot of different countries because of Paul, and he kind of introduced me to this opportunity. He said, hey, perhaps there's an opportunity for us to develop the women's program and sort of inject some international Guyanese blood experience. We know that a lot of them reside here and in New York and places throughout the U.S. and in England, and let's kind of get the word out there and see if there's an opportunity for us to build and compete. And so over the last 8 years or so, it's really been a good journey. We've played against. I personally have had the opportunity to coach against. In games against Mexico and Panama and Costa Rica, Barbados, and our goal is really to have a top 10 team in CONCACAF, right?
Goals
At all levels. So that's our goal at the U15, the U17s, the U20s. We want to compete, right? And you can see, and if you look at the rankings over the last 8 years, you've seen us move up, and we're going to continue to grow the program. And try to be a top club in the CONCACAF region.
That's good, man. I love to hear that. Guys, you're not reinventing the wheel. You mean because it's been done with other nations. Like when Clinton was at the States, he started pulling in like all. Or if he had a granddad who was American or whatever it is, right. So
right.
You're not reinventing it. Obviously, you're using it to your advantage. And I think that's amazing.
Sure.
And I would love to see you obviously continue that, have those successes at those age groups, and then bring that.
To the senior level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 1,000%. Man.
Amazing.
I just think from a personal standpoint, in terms of, it's a good message in terms of following a passion and not knowing where it's going to lead. Because when you first started coaching in Atlanta, I don't know if you could ever imagine you'd be coaching on a national program level, right? Yeah. But because you followed what you love and it was something you took it, and that's what I love about doors opening up, in spaces once you start doing that. So, I think that's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Something else you touched on as well, which I kind of talk about, was this Delta thing. Mm-hmm. Let's dig into that. I don't know where you played.
And you want to know about the after parties? You want to know about the after parties?
You work at certain places, so you have like little work leagues or the rest of it. Now you have like the airline football teams.
That's mad. That's mad. Has anybody out there ever heard of that? That is mad.
Yes.
I know about the police have a team, this one have a team, but that's brilliant.
Airlines, they have big tournaments.
Which makes sense.
Delta hosts their own tournament in Atlanta in October, but through that team, had the opportunity to play in places like, Colombia, Argentina, Germany.
Mamma mia.
All over,
Yeah.
right? It's really a fun thing. I mean, these airlines, they host different tournaments.
Yeah.
Air Italia has their own tournament, and
Right.
Lufthansa has their own tournament.
That's cool.
So we just right, and it's great for building relationships. And I've become friends with a lot of people from different airlines that live in different places around the world, and we're still in contact today.
So we're getting an invite in October. I had tournament in October.
Oh,
so
God, that is crazy.
Yeah,
man.
that's amazing. That's amazing because again, that's obviously as a youth, you grow up, you want to be a footballer. Obviously, not everybody can reach those heights, right? But again, even something like that. If I was traveling around the world just to be on tournaments,
Okay, take touches, man.
I'm a
Hell
happy
yeah,
guy.
man.
I'm a happy guy. You know what I mean? So,
I went on
yeah,
a single
that's very
give
cool.
touches, but that's a different story. But
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. The last question I want to ask you on this, and then we're going to segue into. I'm definitely interested to hear your thoughts on the Copa America coming up, especially and a little bit on the Euros and about your Tottenham team as well, right? Because you guys are doing, all right still. But anyway, we're going to get into this right now. I just wanted to say, with your training of these women and these girls, how do you find giving advice, or how do they take advice, or in terms of training, what are these sessions like in terms of when you have to be firm or when you're not, you know what I'm saying? And in terms of being when you really have to get a point across, how does that, as opposed to dealing with boys, for instance? Because I mean, there's different camouflage or different wars, or maybe I'm just completely wrong. I don't know.
Right. I would say, and so I pulled this from some of my U.S. coaching badges sessions. I had one instructor with the USSF. Trying to remember, I can't quite remember his name right now. But one thing that he stressed was the player-coach relationship is very important, and it's a unique relationship with each player. You have to understand how hard you can push. When to be firm, and when to be more sensitive to them, particularly when you're coaching the females, because a lot of times they may not take things in the same frame that a man would, or that a male player would. It's not any more challenging or less challenging, it's just different. You just need to be a lot more flexible. I think, with the younger girls, when you're talking about the 12s, the 13s, they're a little bit more chatty. So as a coach, maybe I give them 5 minutes at the beginning of practice to catch up and have fun and socialize and things like that.
Right.
I give them a little bit extra time to kind of get their mind right, to get that out of their system, and then, but when it's time to train, then it's time to train, and really I want to push them, right? I want to be able to get out of them what they may not even believe that they have in themselves.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's really a personal relationship on how hard you can push, but once you learn the players, and it's really getting an understanding and learning who they are. They're not just a number, they're not just a player, they're an actual person. Right? They have real problems, they may have school problems, boy problems, whatever the case may be. So you do need to be understanding to some extent, but you also want to create an environment where soccer's an outlet.
Right.
Yeah. Leave those problems at the door for 90 minutes and come train and just have fun here, and we're gonna
With
train
this beautiful
first.
game. No, great answer, man. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, man.
Yeah, man.
So blood. I mean, what did you want to say? I was just gonna talk about. Go ahead.
No, so I was going to say, in regards to the coaching, you talked about like just different problems, different issues. Over that span of coaching, right? I would assume, just in the same way you would with the guys game, you're going to have very talented players that, kind of just drop out of it because they got, other stuff going on. And like I know, speaking from the guys' perspective, you start dating one, and then all of a sudden, you're missing
that kind of
practice.
priority.
So are you catching those same sort of issues as well with the on that coaching side as well? Like also, you said he's in Atlanta at at that level, you're kind of catching that as well.
Where the other priorities come up?
Yeah.
I think it happens everywhere. I think it happens everywhere. Once you get to a certain age, other things become important. You want soccer to remain one of the top priorities, but for some kids it falls, right? It falls. Friends become more important. They want to hang out. They want to do different things. You can try to encourage them and show them the benefits of what football can do and what sport in general can do for you.
Right.
But really, it's an individual. You know, it's up to the individual, right?
Yeah. Well, you spawned another question. What is the instance, or what is it like interacting with the parents? Because sometimes the parents we all know we have some strong-minded parents that say, listen, my child needs to do this, or whatever the case may be. What is that like? Is that a thing? Because I know I know nowadays there's something where you have to sign, but the parents can't come to practice. I know in Pickering or whatever.
Yeah,
so there's a whole new thing, right?
Cool enough period.
Yeah. So I mean, so what is that like with parents addressing you or trying to explain to them your process and what you're doing?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's important to set the tone at the beginning of the year on sort of the expectations of the parents, the expectations of the players.
So you're developing a relationship with the parents, obviously, in some sense too.
Right. I'll want to speak with the parents about the the syllabus for the year, what the training what the training program is going to look like for the next 6 to 8 months or whatever, what they can expect.
Right.
I think, but I've been lucky enough to have good parents.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you're a good people person, anyways, man. I already know how you get that.
I think
Gino's official.
Yeah, but I think part of it is kind of setting the tone early.
Yeah.
Just having a parent meeting.
Makes sense.
You let them know what the expectations are. What your coaching style is. How to engage you if there's something that they're unhappy about.
All right. How to engage you.
Right.
Yep.
How to address it. Right.
Yes.
I don't want parents running to me at the end of the game and yell.
Yeah.
I put like a 24-hour rule in place. Don't talk to me for 24 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Once you calm down, then we can have a more fruitful conversation.
Yes.
Right.
At that point, when emotions are high, you're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
Right. So.
Boy. Yeah, no, that's blessed, man. Okay, that's blessed. Well, listen, I just want to do a cheers. Listen, I don't drink, so they have to drink ginger ale. I feel bad for them, man. You know what I mean? I wanted to say cheers to that. Salute. GT boy, Guyana in the building. So I want to switch gears as you was a football fan. All right, and
we're starting CONCACAF. We're starting the team. I want to get into the team.
You're not. I want to talk about Copa America.
Okay.
I want to talk about Canada.
Okay.
Just tying France.
Yep.
Just some fun stuff. I mean, really quickly. As you know, we're having the. First of all, he was in Atlanta. He's been inviting me to Atlanta forever. I'm finally going to Atlanta for Canada versus Argentina.
Nice.
For the opening match on the 20th, so I can't wait for that.
At the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah, man. I've never been to Atlanta, so I can't wait to go.
Right.
But first of all, what do you think? So I mean, look at this right here. We have Argentina, Peru, Chile, and Canada.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's a crazy group.
It's a crazy group.
What do you think about Canada's chances of getting out? Or what do you think about this? We have a change of guard with the new manager, right? Herdman's gone. Right. What's your thoughts on that? I asked you like 4 questions.
It's all good. Yeah. I mean, on the chances of getting out, I mean, obviously, Argentina is there.
Yeah.
Like, let's not
call a spade a spade.
Yeah. Argentina's there. And Chile's there.
Yeah, I know Chile.
So let's say what we gotta say.
You think so, right? You still think so?
Right? Chile's there. Now I'm not sure where they're ranked, but I know they've won ranked. But I know that they've consistently had a strong team in Copa America. So it's going to be a tough challenge for Canada. Now, the product in Canada is improving, and I don't think that they realize how good they could potentially be as yet. We're still in the old mind. Yeah, we have some guys playing at some big clubs and things like that, but I think the belief in themselves needs to be there because they're capable. They're capable of upsetting these teams.
So you don't believe? I mean, so for instance, the Belgium game at World Cup before they missed the penalty, I felt like they came out with a good belief. I felt like there's a different. I felt like there's a change of guard in terms of attitude. Watching this game against France or the first half against Holland, I felt like the players that are playing in these, whether it's a league, whether it's in Germany or in England. I think their confidence is transcended or translated or they'll be able to pass it on to the rest of the players. But I don't believe the whole team has it. But I do feel like they're playing, like you said, I feel like they're playing really good considering because it is steps, right? It is baby steps.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was just interested in what you think about that because the game against France was phenomenal. Obviously, like Mahit said earlier in our other podcast. It's a warm up for Euros.
That's what I was about to say. Right. So with the France one, obviously performance-wise, you can't take too much from it, because France wasn't going to go full throttle so close to Euros, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
These matches though, they're gonna have against Argentina, Chile, and Ecuador.
And Peru.
Sorry, Peru.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Those are the matches that you want to be looking at because that's
True test.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Because now, all of them will be looking at regardless of how Canada's ranked up against the world champions. The world champions are coming for your neck. So
Facts.
they're coming for your neck.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know Argentina. Like I said, I know Argentina's there. I'm just wondering, can we squeeze by a Chile? You know, it's but.
Right. Listen.
I mean, it's football. Anything can
Exactly.
happen.
Anything can happen in football. It's upset results can happen.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you have to be prepared.
If we can be realistic, he's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the Chile's and their pedigree is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's up.
Right.
So and overall with the tournament, you know, with like Portugal and all these other teams, who do you see? Who's your favorite and who's your dark horse? That's what we wanted to ask you.
For the Copa America?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You mentioned
Whoa,
Portugal.
man, I'm going into Euros, boy. 2 tournaments. My bad.
Four questions, 2 tournaments.
Yeah, my gosh.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously you have Brazil, Colombia, you know, Mexico. Well, yeah, Mexico, Argentina, but
So, I mean, I think my gut is telling me that Argentina is gonna come out on top.
do it again.
They're gonna do it again. That's what my gut is telling me. I think that from a dark horse, I would tell people not to sleep on Colombia. Colombia,
the US.
yeah, they slapped the U.S. They've gone through a lull. Like Colombia has a soccer culture.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you remember, right after the Cantona thing, not the Cantona thing, the Escobar thing.
Yeah.
The men's side went kind of dead for a moment.
Right.
But I think they're waking back up in terms of their culture for football, and I think they're up next. I think Colombia could potentially be, back to their
superpower, Valderrama, Asprilla
Yes.
days, boy, back in the days.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was interested to see Hamas playing for them still. You know, incredible players still playing for them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Switching into Euros now. Same sort of thing. What are you thinking?
Yeah, for Euros, what do you think of for Euros?
So for Euros, I think Germany got lucky with their draw. Right?
The Germany has. Let's have a. He's very lucky. Oh my God. Germany has Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland. The fix is in, baby.
They're gonna win that pool with their B side. They're gonna get that pool with their B team.
Yeah. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. So they got lucky with the draw. I think that you probably can't count out the Spains. You can't count out even Belgium.
Yeah.
Right.
They got redemption. They're looking for a little redemption.
It's a funny thing with Belgium though, because same sort of thing. They have the talent, right? And this is their time. Because these lot now, this is like their last hurrah. Really true.
It's interesting because for me, I'm wondering if because when they had Eden Hazard at his peak, and you had Lukaku at the peak, and De Bruyne, and you had, the team was phenomenal. And who's their keeper? Not just Egan. Is it just Courtois,
yeah.
Right? The team was phenomenal on all cylinders.
That's
so I'm not sure if they
this
missed it, but they have it in them, right? So we'll kind of see what's up. For me, I forgot about it earlier, but Portugal, I think, has a strong team as well. But obviously, I was picking France. I think France might be able to do it with the experience, right?
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see what you think about that.
Yeah.
For the Copa America. Oh, I want to ask you this: if Portugal wins. Right? And Ronaldo gets another trophy.
Where's he going?
Yeah, I just want to ask him. Where's he going? If Portugal wins and Ronaldo gets another trophy.
Right.
Well, first of all, who you taking? Messi or Ronaldo?
I'm Messi.
Right.
I'm Messi. It's
if
not to take anything away from Ronaldo, phenomenal player.
Phenomenal player.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And if Ronaldo wins this Euro, he wins the Euros, and Argentina doesn't win, is it still the same?
No, I don't think it's still the same. I think it's Messi. I think Messi is a better player. I don't think we've ever seen. I don't think we've ever seen a player like that, right? And I was able to see Ronaldo. I was able to see Maradona play in his last game.
Stop it.
Right at the World Cup against Nigeria back in '94.
Oh yeah.
In Boston, and Maradona was my guy, but Messi, it's different.
It's different. I'll tell you right now.
bro.
For me right now, I'm Messi too. I believe that Messi's superhuman and Ronaldo is
man.
because Messi's not a guy that's gonna be training like super hard. Ronaldo is work, just shows you what work ethic could do and focus, and he's really good. But I just believe that exactly that. I see that Messi, everything seems so slow to him, but he's moving so fast.
Yeah.
It's just a different level for me. So I'm on that. I just want to know what you thought on that.
No, so what I was gonna say though is, even if Portugal were to win the Euros and Argentina doesn't win the Copa America, Messi still has a World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
He's like, throw down.
Take that.
Mic drop.
that's all. But no, because that was always the debate, isn't it? You're like, oh, Messi ain't done the World Cup, blah blah blah.
Right.
I agree with you. I think Argentina will take it at the Copa America. I think they're gonna defend it well.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So it'll be 2-1 up.
Yeah. No.
Actually 3-1 up.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I just feel like Messi involves more of the team. Than Ronaldo does. I mean, Ronaldo's just brilliant at his finishing. We know about that, but yeah. So that's what's up with that.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're pretty much wrapping up right now. I just want to. This goddamn Scouser, Liverpool in the building.
Let's talk VAR first. Let's talk VAR. No, but for real. Okay, so let's talk Spurs. Let's talk Spurs.
Yeah.
So coaching wise, as a coach yourself, and let's just go over actually you can go as far back as you want, coaching wise.
Yeah.
Spurs coaches, which ones kind of rank true to you the most?
First of all, I think Spurs have had phenomenal coaches. These guys are all pedigreed coaches.
So you're a real supporter.
I'm a real supporter.
That's how you have to do it, though. That's how you have to do it.
They're all great. I thought that Mourinho was probably their best coach, but I do think that, and I don't know what goes on in the organization. Obviously, I'm a fan.
Right.
Yeah.
But a common theme that the coaches have, a common complaint, is that culturally, upper management sort of handcuffs them to some extent. They can't fully do their job. So it's not to take anything away from them. We all have kind of systems that we work within. We all have jobs and what have you, and it may not be a good culture in your workplace. But it seems the fact that they have that all of them have the same thing to say about management and the environment leads me to believe that there's probably some truth to the issues that they're having.
Yeah. No, I mean, Postecoglou. I think I like your new manager, Aussie coach.
Yeah.
I think he's good. It just needs a bit more time, and it's just one of those things. But for you guys, starting out so good and then kind of faltering out
when they won the league in October.
Oh, here we go. Gavin wasn't going. He wasn't going at all that time. Yeah.
I knew it was going downhill. You know what? When that was happening, I knew it was going downhill because I saw the injuries happening, and then I saw the schedule and who was coming up, and I'm like looking at our bench, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna go. First out the gate, but it definitely slowed up throughout the season, but.
So So again, I guess now the last question I'm gonna ask you on that is, okay, so why did you become a Gareth Bale fan? He was played for Tottenham, but
a Tottenham fan.
Yeah. How did you become a Tottenham fan?
Yeah, my dad's a Tottenham fan.
Oh, so that's
I have family that lives in North London, not far from White Hart Lane.
Okay, he's a real one.
So they're all fans, and so I just kind of was indoctrinated into that.
Okay. No, that's real, man. I respect that.
That's cool.
I respect it. You got strikes for that on some point.
He's saying White Hart Lane too, so it's been from time.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. But listen,
let's favorite players, isn't it? Right. Come on now. So, as you said, because obviously you're going way back. So, who was your favorite Spurs player?
I like Berbatov.
Yeah,
Berbatov was a really good player. Obviously, Harry Kane's a scoring machine. Whether people like it or not, the guy puts the ball in the back of the net.
That's what I tell people all the time.
That's all that a striker is measured by.
Yeah.
Doesn't care what else happens. You put the ball in the back of the net a bunch of times. You're the top.
With a subpar team too.
With a subpar team as well.
Yeah.
I was a fan when Bale was there. Modric. Those are good.
Luka's a magician, man.
Luka's
a magician.
Wow.
Yes, most definitely, man. But yes. So again, this VAR issue where you lot robbed us.
I knew this guy was gonna go there. Right? This guy was talking about Liverpool now. Man. How Liverpool getting this?
Robbed us of that.
Right.
But at the same time, no, big and serious though, coming up to next season,
Yeah.
what you gonna do?
I mean, I think that we definitely need to invest in some players. We need to get a back line.
Yeah.
And the back line, I think, is needs some help. And let alone whether or not when injuries happen, it even falls further off. I think Spurs never had a problem with putting the ball in the back of the net.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
We never have a problem scoring goals. The counterattack is there. It's on all the time for us. We'll sit back and kind of wait and we'll counter. I think the back line is where the weakness is. Hopefully we can get some players in that'll help shore that up. And I know what I'm working with. Top 4 finish is what I'm looking for. I don't think that Spurs are in a position that are going to win the EPL. But if we can qualify for Champions League or at least Europa, to me that's success.
You're not even budging nobody out of the top 4. This year's top 4 will probably be next year's top 4.
We have something to say about if we have something to say about it. Because we haven't been that far. We're not that far. We weren't that far off.
No, you weren't. You were about 80% of the season. You were right there, right?
Yeah.
So it's true.
And lastly, now touching on the Premier League and stuff like that. 115 charges. Where do you sit with this?
Yes.
What do you say about
What do you
this?
think about this Man City atrocity?
Yeah, I mean, these guys are cheaters, right? So, right? But at the end of the day, money talks, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's that's what it is. It makes for fun. It makes for fun. And poking at their supporters and poking at things. It'll be interesting to see how things play out.
In November, yeah. So apparently it's all popping off in November in the courthouse.
And
then they sue. They
suing
counter-sue.
us.
And they
Oh,
counter-sue.
Like, why soon as to not let you cheat? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, brother.
Yes.
All right. Well, listen. We
say?
want to thank you for coming out. Before we go, we have a game called Who, What, and Why.
Who, what, and
All
why?
right.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Gavin Fredricks in the building. So really
Yes.
quickly, I want to ask you.
What's good?
All right.
What's good?
Saltfish and bake or Ital porridge?
Oh shoot! I'm gonna go with the saltfish and bake. Even though I try to stay away from the carbs, saltfish and bake.
And why?
Saltfish and bake's doing it.
The saltfish and bake is doing it. All right. Would you rather score a free kick, a screaming free kick, or a diving header?
Ooh.
He's a specialist at the diving header. That's what
I think, shoot. I'd go for the diving header. It's a little bit more glorious. It's more glorious.
That's what's up. Oh my gosh, they'll kill me.
Mate, being man, having the guy in his background, you're gonna ask me, Putina Bologna, man.
Putina Belange.
Yeah.
The Belange comes first.
Come on.
Come on.
Talk about the heights. I don't mind heights. I'll take it.
Stay good. All right, and Beyonce or Rihanna?
Shoot. Now you put me on the spot, bro.
Who?
Yeah, I'd probably go with Rihanna.
You going to be a
No disrespect to H-Town. Love y'all. You know what I mean? Go to Bijan.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go with Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola. Who would you rather manage you? Pep or Jurgen?
Question.
Okay.
Yes. Who would you rather manage
Who
you?
would I rather play for?
Yes.
I think I'd rather play for Jurgen Klopp, to be honest with you. It seems
I would too. Honestly, I would.
yeah, he's more personal, and it seems like he makes the game fun for his team. He doesn't take things too serious. Like, it seems like his players enjoy playing for him.
100%.
Yeah.
His players run for a wall for him.
Yeah.
Run for a wall for him, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Not to take away from Pep's success or the rest of it, but like as I've said before.
Oh God.
No, I'm not gonna say exactly
All right,
that.
all right.
I'm not gonna say exactly that. I call him a fraud.
All right.
I was gonna say, but I said it. You know? No, but with Pep's success, he's fallen out with a lot of players when we've seen it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he's fallen out with very talented players as well. Like,
Yeah,
who would walk into almost any other team.
Yeah.
Right. So what is it? Like, is it that much of a dictatorship? You know what I'm saying, where
No.
like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of chemistry thing kind of just falls apart.
Right.
So yeah.
No, good. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, man.
Well, yo, that's what it is right now. Yo, man, take us out, man. You already know what's up.
Listen, Mr. Guyana Women's Program came and sat down with the Footy Scoops. Even though the Spurs, man, this has still been your Gavin in the house fix.
Zoom, zoom. Bra.
Yeah, man.
Fix.